circuits and smiles. Nuts.
Hey Transformers fans, doing one more Transformers Prime video review tonight, and this time I'm going to be closing off with Transformers Robots in Disguise Soundwave. Also includes Laserbeak, as it so prominently displays there on the package. The packaging I showed off in the last video, but again, it's got the hub logo down there advertising Hasbro's TV show network, and then on the back it's got some art from the show, pictures of the character. On the side it's got the tech spec information, like we used to have in G1, and then up on the top it's got a bio and all that, which I won't bore everyone with. But let's get to the excitement right away and go ahead and open this figure up and see if he's as cool as everyone seems to think he is. Alright, so here's Soundwave in his very unusual vehicle mode. It's listed on the package as a drone, an unmanned drone, which I guess I can see. It does kind of look like the ones that I've seen on the news from like the Iraq War and stuff. Obviously stylized for the show. It's a kind of an unusual choice for an alt mode for Soundwave, but I do like it better than a satellite or a Mercedes-Benz. You can see Laserbeak does attach here on the top. He has a 5mm peg, and I guess real quick we'll just do a little mini review of the Laserbeak figure. I guess it's Laserbeak. I mean, it more or less looks like him. I mean, it's accurate to the Prime show. It doesn't really look like the G1 Laserbeak, but he has little flappy arms that move, and then there's a hinge here that allows the wings to come forward and down. I haven't gotten to the transformation yet, so I'm not really sure why that is. I'm assuming it probably wraps around Soundwave that way. But, yeah. So, that's Laserbeak, getting back in his little winged mode. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to say here. It does have some working landing gear. This little piece flips out. These back end pieces here are static. They don't really move. One of the neat features that I guess is kind of a feature is if you really want him to have an extremely long wingspan, you can extend out what will eventually be his hands here and give him a much longer wingspan. It looks kind of silly. I don't know that I'll probably display him that way, but regardless, it's an option for you if you wanted to do that. So I guess there's not a whole lot else to say about the vehicle mode. Let's go ahead and get to transformation. Alright, onto the transformation for Soundwave. So as I bring him in here, I did notice one kind of humorous little feature that I didn't notice the first time, and that is he kind of has a bird mouth. He can totally talk. I am Soundwave. Anyways, the transformation on this guy is actually pretty simple. The arms are tabbed in here. You just move those up like that. The legs split. And then what you want to do is on the feet here, bring these pieces up, bring the foot down, and this makes the heel piece. Same thing on this side. Bring the foot and the heel piece down, bring this piece up. You can do whatever you want with this little leg kibble here. You can bend it down like that. I will say the plastic on this little leg piece here, be careful with it. It looks like a piece that would just snap in an instant. I've actually seen several pieces of plastic on this particular figure that looks weak and like it would be prone to breakage, so be careful with your figure when you get it. He has really kind of unusual legs. You basically bend them chicken style a la movie Soundwave. A la movie Starscream. And then he has these like semi-posable kneecaps that you can move, but basically that's his feet. Not a big fan of his legs. But the next thing you want to do is bring his arms up, and they click into place, forming his chest, like that. And his arms extend out like this. There's a little clip, this little hole, and this little peg in this little hole. Flip his arms out. He's got a sort of wacky waving inflatable arm man. Wacky waving inflatable arm man. Anyways, Simpsons joke if any of you got it. Anyways, you flip the shoulders around and bring them down like this. These little shoulder pieces are kind of on a hinge, and you can position them however you want. His arms, actually, being the part that I thought would have been the hardest to do on this particular figure, actually have really good range posability on them. Anyways, the final piece is kind of like the Seekers from the Classics line. The back piece here opens up, which allows the head to pop up, and then you just tuck the engine piece in like that, fold it back into place, and there is Soundwave. And he may look a little bit incomplete to you, and that's because the Laserbeak drone here actually can slot into him on his chest right here, and then these pieces tab into his shoulders, which completes his chest in robot mode. It's not quite a cassette gimmick, but it's not too shabby, all things considered. And so here's Soundwave. I love Soundwave as a character, and I was really excited to get this toy. It's probably the most exciting one that I got, and honestly I was kind of let down by it. The legs kind of ruin it for me. They're not done very well, and they're not very posable. I mean, he kind of has a knee joint, but that's about all that it does. This kibble here gets in the way, and it can't really go anywhere. And again, this plastic's really thin. His feet can basically go up and down, and that's about it. He does have a waist joint, which is kind of good. Boy, what else to tell you about this guy? The head's on a ball joint, but it's kind of a weird one. He can kind of basically turn his head side to side. He has the kind of head on his chest syndrome that some of the other characters in some of the recent lines have had. He's also not got a whole lot of paint apps on him. He's got these purple pieces all over, and maybe some black here and there, but he's pretty much just this kind of light blue color with just some dark blue. Sorry, my cat playing in the background there. I'm just not really a big fan of this toy, to be honest with you. The fingers are soft plastic, but he does have the little claws. I don't know. Like I said, it's he's not the worst Transformer I've ever owned, but it's kind of a letdown for me. He's not my favorite one. And as you can see here, he's not real easy to pose. He just kind of always looks like he's looking down or stumpy, and he's very short. I mentioned in my Wheeljack review that there's kind of seemed to be a scaling down of these toys, and that's definitely evident in Soundwave here. He's a short guy. Let me go ahead and grab some figures for comparison here. Here is the Generation Soundwave, who's much bigger than he is. And here is Wheeljack, his wave mate. You can see Wheeljack and him are about the same size. His shoulders make him look a little bit bigger than Wheeljack is. And then let me also grab first edition Starscream, and I'll bring him here. Gotta make room, fellas. Here we go. And here is first edition Starscream, who obviously is the biggest one of the bunch. So yeah, like I said, my impression of the figure, not real great. I did kind of like his head sculpt. I'm a big fan of the TV show, so thought his head sculpt was cool. It's kind of a translucent orange for his face, for those of you that wondered. It's kind of hard to see outside of on hand, but he does have kind of a translucent look. And it looks like maybe they intended to do light piping at one point, but this is a solid piece of silver plastic, so it's not going to happen with this particular figure. Also, his spikes are soft rubber. Well, looks like these two are. No, they all are. They're not quite as soft as, like, say, Drift's sword or anything. I should point out probably one other thing real quick, and that's if you take Laserbeak off of his chest and transform Laserbeak back into Laserbeak. Sorry. He does have slots on his hand to hold Laserbeak, so you can pop him onto the little hole there, and he can hold him, which is kind of a cool feature, I guess. But like I said, my impression is, unless you're a diehard Soundwave fan, I probably would leave this guy on the shelf. He's not really a solid figure, in my opinion. But if you're a Soundwave fan, or you're just a really big fan of Prime and you want to collect them all, by all means, knock yourself out. He is packaged one to a case. There was only one case at my Toys R Us. There was 2 Wheeljacks, 2 Cliff Jumpers, a Soundwave, and a whole crap load of Bumblebees. So yeah, this will be the last of my Transformers Prime reviews for now. If you guys enjoyed the review and you want me to do more of them, let me know. Maybe I'll go pick up the Bumblebee or another Cliff Jumper if you guys are really interested. But again, mainline things really aren't sort of my deal. But I thought these were worth showing since they were brand new to the area and everything. So thanks for watching my videos, and this has been Transformers Robots in Disguise Soundwave.